Thank you all. My name is Xiomara Ellis, the program manager for Voices for Prevention, and I do want to thank everyone who was able to attend today. Our Prevention Inspiration Cafe, our third meeting, and ideally the theme and the efforts for today's meeting is prevention in action. And this is actually representative of some of the conversations we've had in our membership calls earlier on in the year, really wanting to lean into the network for V4P. We know a lot of people who are in different associations, collaborations, coalitions, networks, and a lot of times we think we know who's involved. We kind of know the members and organizations that are involved within V4P and other organizations, but we don't always lean into letting everyone know what's going on with those within the network. What are they doing? What are some activities they can be involved with? How they can communicate with who's in the network. So just having those conversations, getting that feedback earlier on in our team meeting, we want to make sure we address it. We want to make sure we allow space for everyone to collaborate, to network, because that's really what we want to push and provide a safe space for within V4P. That's one of our umbrellas and one of our legs here. That's a big part of advocacy, is leaning into our network and leaning into all those who we can collaborate with to make a greater and healthier Georgia. So with that, I am going to lean into our agenda a little bit. So the flow of this meeting today is V4P just has a little bit of announcements, a little bit of some things that are coming up for us. And then I wanted to go into the goal for today's meeting, the kind of flow. And then we have the wonderful privilege of having some spotlight members who are going to share what they have going on with their organizations, some of the things that may be coming up, and just allow space for our network to ask questions, what's going on. And we have a period of open floor discussion where if anyone else on the call that would like to share what they have going on with our network, that we allow space for that. And because this meeting is recorded, please keep that in mind, that it is going to be distributed to our entire network of V4P members. So if you want, after you share, you can give your contact information if anyone has any questions or want to reach out to you to be involved in something that's coming up. So I definitely want to give that little rundown of the agenda today. And I look forward to definitely allowing space for that open floor conversation. So first things first, I want to give the V4P announcements, kind of get that out the way. So one thing that V4P has coming up that we're super excited about is the GSAS. With the Georgia School Addiction and Studies, we're actually presenting a workshop. Our workshop will be on Monday, and it is the community voice. The title and the focus for that workshop will be Community Voices in Action, learning how to, oh, sorry, I just realized, hope PowerPoint just went a little haywire there. Sorry, guys. Our presentation is about learning how to navigate Georgia's policy landscape and building effective relationships with legislators. And I did want to give a little caveat. There will be some resources distributed during that presentation, and some really good pointers that even if you are not necessarily building let's say an advocacy workshop for policymakers or the landscape of such, it can be used for other reach out efforts with legislators, even if it's trying to, create a plan to per se to build that relationship. So there's going to be some good giveaways as far as resources during that presentation. So we definitely wanted to highlight that to our network. If you are going, if members of your organization is going, please look out for that presentation. We're super excited about that. Outside of that, we will also be sharing just our next meeting dates and some newsletter distribution dates and things of that nature later on in our meeting. But that was one of the main caveats and things we wanted to share with our network before we get started. So, prevention and action. As I stated before, we are taking heed to what we heard, getting the feedback we received in our member calls that we've had so far. And we really want to allow space for everyone to share. And if you don't want to come off mic, that's fine. Please feel free to use the chat. We'll be checking that as well. But as I said before, we have three Spotlight members who are going to share what their organizations are doing, how they're involved in our great Georgia communities, what they're doing. And I did want to state that if you have any questions pertaining to any particular organization, any questions, kudos you want to give, please feel free to put that in the chat. At the end of each organization's presentation, we will take questions because we definitely want to allow everyone time and space to present on their organization without any interruptions. So if you have any questions and you don't want to lose a thought, feel free to leave it in the chat and or at the end of their presentation, feel free to raise your hand, come off mic, ask the question, and we'll make sure that we answer them as best as we can and as quickly as we can to allow everyone time to speak. With that, we're going to hop into our member spotlight presentations. So the very first organization is Guide, and V4P has worked with Guide plenty, and we are excited to continue our collaboration and partnership in the future. But Guide has done some amazing work around Georgia, and we have Andrew here to present for them. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and allow Andrew to share his presentation and introduce himself as well as the work Guide does.
Thank you so much. Let me share real quick. Okay. Now if I can get all the menus out of the way so I can present. Awesome. Thank you all so much. As Xiomara said, my name is Andrew Williamson. I'm program coordinator of prevention at Guide. This is my third year, I think. So still a little fresh, I'd say. But it's been a wonderful time working for Guide. So Guide has been around since 1986. We were born out of the Gwinnett County Board of Commissioners and the Gwinnett County Board of Education because they thought we didn't have a drug problem in Gwinnett. What we found out was, and they wanted to prevent that, but what we found out, obviously, is that things were happening and we needed to tackle this a different way. And so in the beginning, it was just one person. It was our founder, Ari Russell. She is still around helping us work, but she has retired. Also, I apologize. There's a fly that is harassing me. So if I'm flapping my hands, don't pay attention. But Ari Russell is still around helping us and still comes to a lot of the events and things that we plan. We're still obviously very active in Gwinnett, but we have expanded. We work around Georgia now. And our mission is to improve community conditions by utilizing our collaborations, promoting positive youth development, delivering specialized training and resources, and preventing substance use and abuse. So we do this work with the help of several grants. Most of them come either from the CDC, SAMHSA, and DBHDD. A lot of that helps us to do our substance use prevention work, which is helping us to reduce use among youth, and that's who we primarily focus on. And we do that through educating adults like teachers and counselors and parents throughout Gwinnett County, so that they can become those people that inform the youth and help them make good decisions as their trusted adults. And suicide prevention is another one that we like to focus on, helping to reduce that stigma and helping people to have the conversations that can be difficult and can be hard. And so with that, we kind of focus on mental health and looking for those signs and symptoms, and helping people understand how to act in that. And then we also have run the Prevention Action Collaborative Gwinnett, or PAC-G. This is where we bring in the different sectors from around Gwinnett County to work together to create that drug-free Gwinnett County. And so we do this by helping work with people in their mental state, their physical state, and as well as helping them with their emotions. And so with our positive youth development side, we try to focus on how do we engage youth in a way that allows them to bring their voice to the projects that we do, the projects that they're doing, and so that they can feel empowered because we know that peer-to-peer is the best intervention when it comes to substance use prevention. And so through that, we have our youth advisory board, which is made up of Gwinnett County High School students from all over. They come together to help us plan our projects and plan their own projects. We also run the Georgia Teen Institute, which is one of the things we started way back in 1989. So we've been doing that for, oh my gosh, I can't do the math right now, but over 30 years. Or and so we've been doing it for a long time. And this is where we bring youth action teams from around the state of Georgia to come and have a week with us at camp. They learn leadership skills. They take time to plan their projects that they want to do, the focus on substance use prevention or mental health promotion, and take them back to their communities. And so we do that through, working specifically with the SPIF, the Strategic Prevention Framework. So they learn that with us, and it's something they can use even outside of their youth action teams. We also run the Youth and Family Advisory Board. This is working with youth from ages 15 to 23 from around the state, as well as the parents and guardians of those youth to get feedback on different projects that are going on around the state of Georgia. And then lastly, we also work with the Georgia Statewide After School Network to put on our after school and youth development initiatives. So this is helping different after school programs have up-to-date and accurate content for their projects and their programs that they put on across the state of Georgia. So, what do we do with V4P? Well, V4P comes to the Georgia Teen Institute, helps us teach advocacy and how the youth can use their voice in policy. And so it helps them to understand what power they have to affect the world around them. And it is a wonderful workshop. Esther, I believe, was there this year, and everyone had a great time during this. And then also, we try to be at every advocacy day, not just there to advocate, but also we like to come and show out and give resources and help people understand all of the opportunities that they have and that guide is providing. So, saying that, we offer lots of training. We do, that's not listed here, but we also do the PCCG core competency classes. We do those twice a year. We also just have a litany of resources that is on our website and trainings. And if you happen to be a Gwinnett resident, they are free for you. If you're not in Gwinnett, there's a little fee, but we're also willing to work with you, especially if you have a group of people. We can talk on the side and figure out what you need and figure out how we can do trainings for you. But we range everything from substance use prevention to team building, personal leadership development, suicide prevention and mental health promotion, anything you can think of that pertains to these kind of subjects, we probably have something we can help you with. But that is all I have for y'all. So thank you again. And if you need to reach me, it's andrew@guideinc.org, or you can go to our website, guideinc.org. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Andrew. And I also made sure to put the guide website in the chat box if anyone needs to make sure they can click on that. But I did want to ask, does anyone have any questions or maybe some insight that they would like to share with Guide? And while we wait, make sure to also take a look at that website, Guide's website. They have a lot of resources. As Andrew said, they are definitely heavily involved within Georgia. The youth advocacy, V4P has worked and collaborated with Guide plenty of times since I've been on staff as well. A little bit of a newbie and a newborn. With V4P, but it has been great. I do see Steve, your hands up.
Yeah, so Andrew, I think you just did the Georgia Teen Institute. How did it go this year?
It was great. We had a blast. We had probably some of the largest numbers of youth and adult advisors present this year since COVID. We used to have a very robust, or we still have a very robust program, but it was much larger before COVID, and we're still kind of coming back up in numbers. But it was a fantastic time. Um, Everyone seemed to have a wonderful experience. We had a lot of great projects that are going back to their communities, and we're just very excited to see how GTI continues to progress.
Excellent. All right, thank you.
Thank you for that, Steve. And I did hear wonderful things about GTI this year. I wasn't able to go, but as you said, Esther was able to go as well as Aubrey, one of our staff members, and they just came back raving. The kids were so engaged, excited, and willing to share their insights, their thoughts, how they would like to participate in advocacy. So that was really exciting. So once again, if anyone has any questions for Andrew, or Andrew, if you wouldn't mind if you putting your email address in the chat box, just if in case anyone wants to reach out. But we'll also be sending out, as a reminder, the recording of today's meeting to everyone, all members. So you'll have the opportunity to reach out to Andrew if you guys want to be involved with anything. Um, and next spotlight member that V4P wanted to make sure we allowed space to present was the Georgia Prevention Project. They are another organization that is moving mountains, have a lot going on. We have worked with Hannah, who is here from the Georgia Prevention Project in the past. And I've had short little snippets to talk to her, and it definitely has warmed my heart to just hear the great things you're doing in the community. So, with that, I would like to let Hannah come and present on what they're doing within the community of Georgia.
Thank you so much. Hey, everyone. I did not make a PowerPoint presentation, but I just figured I'd give y'all a little bit of I'll give you a little background for y'all who may not know the Georgia Prevention Project, and then sharing some upcoming stuff that we have going on. I'm one of our college prevention partnership program coordinators, and then I'm also a regional manager for our Sources of Strength program. So with the Georgia Prevention Project, our K through 12 programming is going to be Sources of Strength focused. We're working in Cobb County, we're working in Dawson, we're going to be doing some work in Jeff Davis, Appling, and Bacon counties as well. And then we have a PIP grant over in Tolliver that's going to be doing Sources of Strength this upcoming school year. So we're very excited for that. And then with our college program, we work across the whole state. We work with about 27 colleges, and our college groups are using the PSN, positive social norms, as kind of the basis of their work. And then they're focusing on prescription drug misuse prevention, as well as, of course, this how that leads into mental health and everything else that we all talk about and incorporate into our work. So some of the stuff that I just kind of wanted to highlight was we just had a summit with our folks from, if we're talking in DBHDD terms, from Region 5 and Region 2. So we had some of our students meet actually in Statesboro, and we did some trainings for them. We did a GenRx training, and then we also went through some sources, kind of like a little learning lab with them where they got to do different activities that related to sources of strength. So we're always trying to do summits and like bring little opportunities for our students to kind of get together and meet one another, since we are kind of spread out all across the state. So generally, we've done one every February. So that's something that we'll send out information for, and try to get everyone looped in once we kind of get the ball rolling with that one. We're moving more toward this idea of doing regional summits, since we're spreading out more with our current sources initiative. So as this school year kicks off and we kind of figure out where we're doing what, we will keep everybody in the loop with any of these teen summits that we have, in case y'all have any students that you want to bring. And otherwise, with our college program, we are currently working on putting together an athletic summit. So the goal of that is to host our college athletes and our coaches as well. And we're going to have a trainer from Protect Your Game come and do a session with them. And then also have a former athlete just come and speak with them about, again, same concept of mental health, how that's going to relate to your performance, and then of course that substance use component as well. So that's something we have coming up. I will be sharing out my registration information as soon as I can. I will try to kind of get that out to some of these like email blasts that folks get. So we're looking forward to that. And then another thing that we're talking about right now will be continuing our webinar series that we've done in the past. So if we have any folks on this call maybe, or if y'all know anyone who would want to present to our college students, we try to do like monthly webinars with them in addition to the trainings that we already offer them. And then that being said, if anybody has a topic that they would love to present to our students, we can also plan something in person with our colleges. Like I said, we're at about 27 different schools across the state. So there can always be a possibility that it's something close enough or in your region that we could work out something in person. We love to do that when we're able to. And we're also talking about the possibility of piloting some sources of strength programming with some of our colleges. That's something they've been kind of like a model that they've been looking at, kind of trying to expand. We also have some of our schools that do Adopt a School, if anyone's familiar with that program, where our college students go into the middle or high school. So we're trying to look at kind of some possibilities for trying to combine some of our programming and again, like get our college students more involved with our high schoolers and things like that. So those are the big things that we have coming up. Like I said, I don't have a ton to share right now as far as like any upcoming registration stuff, but as soon as I do, I will send that out to everybody. And I will put my email in the chat, but for anyone in the recording, the info@georgiapreventionproject.org is going to be easier than my personal email, but I will put my email in the chat for everyone that's here right now.
Oh, thank you very much. For some reason, I couldn't find that off mute
That
button.
happens to me all the time. I'm like,
It's like, where's the button? Thank you so much, Hannah. I'm really excited to kind of find out those dates when you guys get a chance to, because I do know we're looking forward to attending and being a part of that whenever you have that as well. So I did want to allow time and space if anyone had any questions or was excited and wanted to share anything from Hannah's presentation today. All right. And while we allow space for anyone, if they want to come off mic and ask any questions, as Hannah said, she did place her email in the chat there. We will be sharing this recording after the meeting, as well as connecting contact information for everyone who presented today. And we know that there are competing meetings today, so we do expect an influx of emails afterwards, just reaching out to you too. So just kind of be on the heads up for that, because we do definitely expect that. With that, I do have one more spotlight member to share. And it is from Jeff Breedlove. He was actually not able to attend today's meeting, unfortunately, due to a conflict. As I said, there are other meetings going on today, but he was kind enough to send a recording of his organization, what they do, as well as contact information for them. So I did want to allow time to share that. So please give me a moment while we pull that up and share. Oh, oh, I'm sorry. Can you guys hear? I did want to. I did see a chat pop up. Can everyone hear the video? Okay, no audio. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing and share again because I do know sometimes I have to click a little button. Yep, there's a little button. Okay, do apologize. I'm gonna start that video over.
Voices for Prevention. Leaders, I'm Jeff Breedlove, a person in long-term recovery. It's also my privilege to serve as CEO of the American Addiction Recovery Association. The AARA works across Georgia and across the United States to save lives, restore families, and strengthen communities. Let me provide clarity. Prevention is recovery. The work of Voices for Prevention is foundational. It's a cornerstone of the Georgia recovery community. There are some on the extreme who argue prevention is not recovery, that it's a waste and even dangerous. Never let those voices of stigma deter you. A supermajority of people in recovery appreciate and respect that prevention programs save lives. Again, prevention is recovery. AARA is an advocacy organization building a diverse, inclusive, and bipartisan constituency of consequence across Georgia and the United States. Peers, family members, clinical professionals, law enforcement, judicial, education, faith, and all community stakeholders uniting together, finding that 80% we agree on, and advancing those values. AARA is your voice. If you've had enough of the death and generational debt caused by addiction, AARA is your voice. If you've ever asked, who is fighting for people impacted by addiction the way other organizations fight for people impacted by cancer, AIDS, Alzheimer's, diabetes? AARA is your group. If you are ready to join with people who seek to advance programs, funding for organizations exactly like Voices for Prevention, so that Voices for Prevention can do the brilliant work it does in communities across Georgia. Voices for Prevention is a powerhouse organization. I am personally, and AARA is organizationally, honored to be a small part of Team Voices for Prevention. Voices for Prevention provides essential data, it hosts impactful events, it conducts effective community outreach, and Voices for Prevention is building a statewide network of leaders who understand that every time prevention is discussed in a school, a house of worship, a community civic club, that lives are saved, families are restored, and communities are made stronger. Being a small part of the great work of Voices for Prevention is essential, rewarding, and a blessing to me and AARA. And I'm confident it is to everyone and every organization. AARA is on all social media platforms. I hope you will follow the American Addiction Recovery Association on social media. Help us with our mission and join us at events. You can always contact me via text at 404-615-5735 or email me at jeff4recovery@gmail.com. Thanks for leading for Voices for Prevention. Thank you for caring about our community and fighting to protect people from the tragedy of addiction. Join us at the American Addiction Recovery Association and help us in the whisper.
All right. Thank you so much. And Steve, I see your hand up.
Yes. So I'm hoping somebody can answer this. At the outset of Jeff's talk, he said something along the lines that prevention work is considered dangerous. Can somebody comment on that? I don't get that.
hmm I definitely heard that stigma before. I didn't know if anyone else wanted to comment on that as well.
I get the fact that some people may argue that it's a waste of money. I get that. But dangerous, so some of y'all who've been out here in the field longer than I have been around the prevention work, I'd really like to hear what y'all think about that. And I may have to text Jeff myself and say, Jeff, give me the background on that, man. I don't get it.
No, I mean, I'm new to the organization. I've heard that before. It's one of the stigmas that has come up in conversation when talking to people outside of the field, outside of prevention, outside of even sometimes recovery. I've heard that a little bit on that side as well. From my understanding, when they hear prevention and they think dangerous, is because of stigmas attached to prevention work that has been done in the past, where their prevention work was ignoring the issue, kind of putting a rainbow cloud over it as if it doesn't exist, as if some of the, not my kid, prevention is, you guys will never do it, you guys are good kids, just kind of false falsely assuming that, for example, let's go to substances, that students and youth, if they're a good kid, they're not going to be involved in it. Or just the false narrative that can be attached to the good kids don't get involved, that's just the bad kids. I have heard that kind of associated, but once again, it's usually steeped in hearing one biasy and kind of running with that. It's not necessarily the whole what people think of prevention, but that's just kind of what I've heard in the past.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah, and I think along with that, the like major thing that I think of is dare, and that scare tactics often push people in the opposite direction. So instead of scaring them away, it kind of makes them more curious about it, so it can lead
oh,
to potentially more problems down the road. Just not something we try to use anymore, hopefully.
okay. I can get that.
I do know they're steering away from fear tactics. Andrew, that was even mentioned previously at a OPS provider meeting that we had. But like I said, it's kind of older ways of what people used to do when thinking of prevention. But now, thankfully, with the evidence-based research and new things that has come out, our strategies and ways of addressing prevention has evolved, is changing, is incredibly changing now that the landscape has changed with technology and what everyone has access to, and the ways that they're retaining information that is heavily changing, and the ways they want to receive messaging. And so, no, I know a lot of things are changing with the evidence base, and also with how landscape is now with AI and technology. What it was like for me 10 years ago, learning a little bit about prevention has drastically switched. Because I was just a little bit about my background. I came into prevention maybe about 7 to 8 years ago, left, and then came back into the field. It was like, whoa, this is not what I remember. And I'm learning and relearning every day about the landscape and strategies and ways we are changing. So that's always exciting, but it is definitely forever evolving.
Okay.
Awesome. So I did want to just caveat, as Jeff had in his video, he left his contact information if you wanted to reach out to him. But I did want to thank Andrew as well as Hannah for taking the time to present about your organizations, what you're currently doing within Georgia, and all the activities you have coming up. And once again, if anyone wants to reach out to them, they have blessed us with weekend and date their email addresses, their email mailbox. With our questions, with our, hey, can we get involved? Can we learn more? So please feel free to do so. We definitely advocate that. Those in recording and in the meeting today. I did want to provide a little bit of what's coming up and a little bit of an agenda for V4P, what we have on our list of things coming up. As I said earlier in the meeting, V4P will be at the annual Georgia School of Addictions Studies doing a workshop that Monday. So please be on the lookout if you're attending. But also outside of that, we have the National Suicide Prevention Week coming up in September. That's September 13th through the 19th. And our next member call will be September 16th. And we will be leaning into that member call. During that member call, we're going to be leaning into getting feedback, hearing more from our members, because this is the time that we're actually collecting data about, hey, we've applied this that we've heard last year. How did we do? How can we improve? How can we make sure our entire network is connecting with each other, building those relationships, being able to utilize resources that we provide. So during that meeting, we'll definitely be leaning into that as well. Outside of that September meeting, we do have the World Suicide Prevention Day. That is September 10th, I'm sorry. And we have the Substance Use and Misuse Prevention Month that is October. Red Ribbon Week, which we all know is coming up as well in October. And V4P has created dates for our prevention day. So we do want to put that caveat. Please save the date for 2027. Everyone, I'm gonna pause because everyone's gonna run and get their pencils while they're at home watching this recording. Because I know everyone on this call has already got our little save the date flyer, but we will be sending that out soon. But please make sure you mark down and save the date for our 2027 prevention days, which is February 25th for our suicide prevention, which will be at the Sloppy Floyd building. Every year we have that there, so it will still be there. And for our substance use prevention day, that will be March 18th at the Freight building. So this year it's going to be a little switch. Usually we have our substance use prevention day prior to the suicide. It's going to be a little flip this year. We're doing suicide first, which will be February 25th, and March 18th will be the substance use prevention day. We will be sending out emails of save the dates, but I did want to kind of plug that because I know those months are really busy. A lot of things are happening. So just wanted to kind of give that little caveat of what's coming up on the V4P side and what we'll be sharing. So with that said, I did want to kind of pause and allow space if there's any questions, anything, any members that would like to share, anything that's going on with their organizations that they have right now. Please feel free to share with our members and share with our network.
Yeah, I have an announcement, partially from Jennifer Wiles, partially from me. And Newton and Rockdale, they're doing some suicide postvention conferences. They're 2-day conferences, so I'll type them in the chat in a second. But Newton, it's August 27th through the 28th, and in Rockdale, it's August 31st through September 1st. And I believe these are in association with DBHDD. She's also typing more right now to me, so I may have more things to say.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. I wrote it down myself, so we can make sure if we can be in the room, we're there, and if we can share, we share that information. Is there anyone else that would like to share something that's coming up or an event that they know of that they want to make sure is kind of on the books for everyone in our network? Okay. And while people are thinking, while everyone's kind of looking at that calendar, that I know we all have. I have like the big one that just covers the whole wall that I write everything on. Um, Once again, I definitely want to thank everyone for sharing those dates. Andrew, thank you for putting that in the chat box. And once again, reading that off, postvention that will be held August 27th through 28th for Newton County, and the suicide prevention, postvention on August 31st through September 1st for Rockdale. Thank you, Jennifer Wiles. Thank you, Andrew. And I'm going to pause definitely if I misspoke on that at all. Andrew.
You're all good. Just in case people are unaware, suicide postvention is for people after a suicide has potentially occurred. And so it's for people to know how to process and work through part of that grief, and to also help just in that time. So
Thank you for that. And Steve, I did see your hand go up. Did you want to add anything?
I just put it in the chat. I was literally that was my question. What is postvention? And Andrew, you were able to present that and share it right away. So yeah, thank you. I'm good.
yeah, it's just help to the community and the community response in that time.
That's a good work. Yeah, it's
Definitely much needed. So I thank you for sharing that, Andrew. And we'll definitely, if it's okay with you, we'll make sure to have your contact information and Jennifer's if you would like for that event. If anyone has any questions for more details on that. With that, because we're awesome, we have a little bit more time. We definitely have a little additional time here for our member call. I did want to kind of give that reminder. Our next call will be September 16th from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. So please be on the lookout for those emails, as well as those save the dates that will be going out very soon. Oh, and I see. Thank you so much, Andrew. Jennifer will be sending flyer. We'll be able to obtain flyers from Jennifer that will make sure is involved in us distributing this recording, as well as the contact information for you guys. But with that, I'll actually be able to give everyone a little bit more time to their day. If there is no more questions, any concerns, we're really excited for all the events coming up. You know, our year does not end, our work does not stop. So I do know if anyone thinks of anything they would like to share with V4P that we can then distribute throughout our organization, please feel free to email me, Xiomara Ellis, at xellis@livedrugfree.org. That's xellis@livedrugfree.org. I'll make sure to also put that in the correspondence that's going out to everyone with the recording. But with that, thank you, everyone who attended today. Thank you, Guide. Thank you, Georgia Prevention Project. Thank you, Jeff Breedlove in the background, as well as what's going on with the suicide post-vention events. We are looking forward to gaining more information about that, hopefully being as many as we can to support that event and any other events that are coming up. You please utilize V4P for what we're here for, is spreading advocacy, using our network to work together, to promote each other's events, to attend each other's events, and to collaborate when we can to make Georgia happier, healthier, and ready for all that comes with this work. So thank you all for your time. Thank you so much for being here. If there's any other things that anyone would like to share, I would stop talking so you get tired of I'm sure everyone's tired of my voice. Please feel free to come off mic and share. But if there is nothing, I would like to provide everybody back some time in their day. All right. Thank you all for coming today. Thank you so much. We'll be sending out that recording by next week with all the great information shared today, as well as the contact information. Thank you all for your time, and I really appreciate you guys attending today's meeting.